Hey guys, it's John again, and I'm just coming at you with another very quick campsite video here on my adventures motorcycle camping in northwestern Arkansas. Just thought I'd give you a couple of tips, a couple of things that I've figured out as I've delved into motorcycle camping. Which, of course, this is luxury motorcycle camping, or you know, I don't know, this is with a trailer, right? So this is assuming we have storage for a lot more stuff. A lot of cool guys on YouTube who do it with backpacking tents and tarps and you know, just everything, just what they can fit on their saddlebags or roll onto their bike, which is really cool. But for the two of us, we're doing it with a lot more equipment. So I thought I'd give you a couple of tips though, because even with that, that's still a lot less than you can fit in a car or an SUV or, you know, a motorhome or a fifth wheel or anything like that. So a couple of tips. First is regarding the packing. One of the things I found that worked out really well for us is to double up on the small stuff so that we had it. For example, I brought 2 lighters, and I brought about 6 packs of these waterproof matches, right? They're small, they pack light. Lighters are great. They're a whole lot more convenient than matches because you can hold the flame, you know, as long as you like. But they sometimes don't work as well in certain situations. They're sometimes harder to use. They're less reliable. They run out. So I like having both. I like having the option. I've got some matches there because matches are reliable. I've got lighters because they're easier to use. I really like using lighters, for example, for lighting the Coleman stove. This is an older style one that doesn't have the push button, so I don't, you know, stick my hand right in there and catch it on fire. Also grabbed a couple of these galvanized citronella candles because they're fantastic, and they're usually set way lower in the can, so they're nicer for outdoor use in windier conditions and that kind of thing. But what goes with doubling up on small stuff is not bringing the big stuff. So here I've got my fire going. I bought the firewood at the campsite. Most campsites will sell firewood. So there's really no reason to bring it, and really you shouldn't transport firewood, especially if you're going across state lines. But the next thing though is the cooler rack. So I have my cooler here, and if you've seen the other videos regarding the trailer, it actually bolts up here. There's a stand there under the air conditioner. That stand gets flipped upside down, bolted here, and the cooler strapped on top of it. What was in the cooler was not anything that was in my that's in my grocery setup over here. Everything in my grocery setup over here was bought locally. In my cooler were small things that I wanted to keep waterproof. Even though matches were waterproof, I stuck them in there, a tarp, a handful of other small tools and things like that. And so I used that for storage. And then when I got here, I brought some soft-sided cooler bags. There's one there, that kind of black and white checkered one. My wife's had that, and I thought, well, that'll work perfect, and those fit in the saddlebag, one each. So then we went to grocery shopping, went to the grocery store, and just stuffed all of our food in the saddlebag. The grocery store was 30 minutes away. The stuff that was cold stayed cold for 30 minutes without any ice. We bring it, put it in the cooler, and buy ice here at the campsite. So figure out what you can buy at the campsite, figure out what you can get locally, plan that kind of stuff ahead of time, and don't bring it. Don't waste your precious storage space on stuff that you can get locally. But do come equipped with the right kind of tools. Campfires are a great way to cook. Coleman stoves are fantastic with a percolator to make coffee in the morning, or with cast iron. Now, if you saw the earlier video, I had a couple cast iron skillets. You should be able to know what those look like. So cast iron skillets are fantastic if they're seasoned right. That's something I think everyone should get into when it comes to cooking because they're just so awesome. But by saving space and some of the other stuff, you can pack stuff like cast iron skillets, or at least one, which is a fantastic way to cook when you're camping. So what I'll do is when this fire burns down, this is another quick tip for you, start your fire early. So it's like 5 o'clock, we'll probably eat around 7. So starting my fire early, that's going to burn, it's going to get hot, I'm going to have that nice big fire, and then it's going to burn down to some coals. I can take my fire poker, which I brought from home, something else that folks tend to forget, but you can always find a stick. And I'll kind of break it down, and we'll put the grate over it. And hot coals is the best place to cook over when you're using a skillet or something like that. Obviously, it's important to have good nutrition when you're camping. It's important because you want to keep up your energy. You want to be focused. You want to be mentally alert. When you're on the motorcycle, it's dangerous to be out dehydrated or poorly nourished. So what we will do with that in mind is roast some marshmallows and make s'mores over the open flames. Because everyone knows that the best marshmallow is a burnt marshmallow. And people who don't eat burnt marshmallows can't be trusted. So just keep that in mind. When you're picking out your camp friends, if you see a guy that like holds his marshmallow over the fire, you know, and gets that nice golden brown toast, lock your stuff up because that guy's going to steal everything because he can't be trusted. Now, if you see a guy that lights his marshmallow on fire, lets it burn until it burns out, and it ends up black and blistered and crusty, that guy, you know, you might as well give him your wallet to hang on to because that guy can be trusted forever. That guy is a saint. So that's how it works. Yeah, so that's a couple of quick tips. And definitely, if you're hauling a trailer, invest in a cooler rack, or if you're hauling something else that can be used as a cooler rack, consider a way to mount it to the trailer, because that, believe it or not, is a lot of storage. And things like that, like the cooler and the AC stand, take up a large footprint. They take up a lot of space. And so 2-in-1, by putting the AC stand upside down on the tongue of the trailer and then putting the cooler on top of the AC stand on top of the tongue of the trailer, I saved a ton of space inside the trailer for other things. And another cool thing is compression bags to compress down your clothes. And another thing is to look into is electricity. This is so cool. I've got electric and I got a water spigot over there. $22 a night, I think, is what I'm paying. Like $20 a night for perimeter. So $2 a night, and I got power and water. So if that's an option for you, definitely do some research ahead of time. If you're motorcycle camping, consider, instead of showing up at campsites, I figure you guys don't want to look at me. The fire's way cooler looking. You know, when you're motorcycle camping, that kind of thing, instead of showing up at a campsite and trying to find a reservation, make reservations ahead of time and see if you can't find campsites with amenities like power and water, if that's important to you. But it's helpful because it allows you to charge your devices. Even if you're not running air conditioning like me, you know, you can charge your phone, you can charge your camera, your Bluetooth, you know, headsets, whatever you've got. And I have an external battery pack too that's great for that too. However, even if you get power and water, don't bring anything that relies on power. Now, if you have a medical device like a CPAP machine, there's not much I can tell you about that. But, you know, things like air mattresses, things like that, have a backup plan. So my backup plan, I forgot. It's sitting at home, so hopefully I don't need it. But was a car jump starter. You ever seen those things like in a little box, and you know, they have jumper cables built in? And mine has an inverter built in with a 110 outlet. And I tested this and it works. And you know, I'm able to plug it into my air mattress. And my air mattress is a sort of kind that has a 110 plug and a built-in pump. It's not my favorite style. I'd rather use an external pump, but it's just what it is. So there's no way to air out my mattress manually or with an external pump. You have to use the internal 110 pump. The way it is you plug the mattress in and you turn the switch on and it automatically inflates and automatically shuts off the pump, and then it keeps it inflated through the night. So with my little jump starter pack, I can plug it in, inflate it, unplug it. So if I got here and the power wasn't working, or there was a storm and the power got knocked out, or you know, these old campsite wiring was out, you know, I would still be able to air out my air mattress. Nothing else that I have requires electricity. I can go without AC, and I can use my external battery pack to keep my phone charged and the essentials. So don't rely on the amenities like that, but try to find them if you can, because most of the time they do work and they're pretty cool. And you know, plan a couple months of pack a month ahead of time, because you'd be amazed what you'll think. And that's what I did. I packed a couple months ago. I didn't pack clothes and things, but I packed tent and that kind of stuff into the trailer. And I was really amazed at what kind of stuff I thought of afterward. And I just kind of threw in there, like the clothesline. You know, I was walking through a sporting goods store and I saw that clothesline. And it was just a yellow piece of rope, but it comes with these little clips to make it easier to put around the tree without having to tie knots or anything. And I thought, well, that's perfect. And yeah, it works great. There's actually laundry here at the campsite. But you know, I don't need to go up and throw my swimming suit in the dryer or have it wet and soggy in the bottom of the tent. I'm going to stick it up there. I'm not going to wash any clothes while I'm out here because I brought enough clothes. Again, the luxury of a trailer. I brought enough clothes for the week, so I'm good to go. You know, we'll put dirty clothes in a separate bag, and we actually put all of our stuff in 2 bags. We put our bedding in one bag and our clothes in another bag. So our bedding is out on the bed, and the bedding bag is now getting all the dirty clothes. And so when we're done with our trip, the dirty clothes bag will be full. We'll move any remaining clean clothes into the dirty clothes bag, zip it up, put the bedding in the other bag, load up, head home, and do laundry. So that's it. Those are my handful of tips. However many is that? You know, I guess we should be catchy and call it like 5 or 7. So whatever. You know, that's the thing now. But you know, whatever. There's a few tips for you. I'm interested to hear though in the comments below if you have any experience motorcycle camping or camping in general. What kind of things you like? What kind of things work out well for you? And what kind of things are important for you? And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to let this fire burn down, and I'm going to be grilling up some meat here in a little bit when this burns down, and having some dinner. So guys, I'll talk to you later, and as always, God bless. Bye-bye. Oh, one more. I can't believe I didn't mention these fire starters. If you look down there in the fire, that little thing that's on fire and burning is not a piece of wood. It's a fire starter, and I don't have any up here anymore. I've got some for the tent. But they're these things you can get. They're pretty cool. They come in like packs of 3 or 4. Hardware stores have them. Camping stores have them. And they're like brown, and they're little bricks, and they're so cool. I'll throw a link in the description for some on Amazon for you. But they're so cool because you just light them with a lighter or something. It takes a minute to light them, which is why I like the lighter. It takes like, maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds exposure to the flame, then they light. You set up your logs, you stick it under there, and you walk away. You're done. No kindling, no paper, no praying or begging or blowing. You just set it, you light it, and 10 minutes later you come back and you got a nice fire going, because it basically burns for a while. I mean, it'll burn for 10 or 15 minutes. And the wood at that point has no choice but to light. So I can't believe I forgot that one, so I'll append this thing into the video. So yeah, get those fire starters, pack those with you, pack a bunch of them. They will save you so much of a headache starting your campfires. And if you're assuming you're using campfires, and if you are using a campfire, upwind and as far away from your tent as possible. That's not just because you don't want your tent to get set on fire, but one quick way to shorten the lifespan of your tent is to have little embers flying over and hitting your tent. And what goes with that is build a small fire. That's actually probably as big as anyone will ever need. I probably should have done a little bit smaller. But keep your fires very, very small, because a big fire is unnecessary, doesn't do anything for you, but it does throw a ton of ash, smoke, and embers, which is going to damage your tent, put pinholes in it, which is going to make it leak, and it's just going to make everything smell like smoke, and it's also not very courteous to your neighbors. I mean, I'm empty, right? This is school starting back up again, which is precisely when we went at this time period. I love people, I love families, and I love families with kids, but I don't mind not having the people and the families with kids around me. So now that school has started here in Arkansas, we're down here camping, and there's not very many people here. A few full-time RVers. I don't know if those people are that or not, but I know a couple people I've met are, who live in their RV at least several months out of the year, and they're here all the time, here for a month at a time or so. And a few other campers like us who are just taking vacation time to camp. But for us, we're here by ourselves for the most part. But you'll have neighbors, and most of the time, and it's always good to be courteous. The last thing you want to do is tick off your neighbors. So be quiet after 10 o'clock. Keep your fire down, and yeah. So all right, guys. Talk to you later. God bless.